I'm Kstenzun Eyes. This podcast is so significant topic for our community. Let's get started. Episode 1, the computer that thinks like you. First of all, we have to drink a coffee. Imagine a machine, not just calculating, but feeling. A machine not made of silicon, but neurons, real human brain cells. Now, pause. Because what if I told you we have already built it? This isn't science fiction. This isn't some Black Mirror fantasy. This is real. It's called CL1, a biocomputer designed by Cortical Labs in Australia. But let me reframe that for your understimulated brain. This machine doesn't just run code. It learns, it adapts, it evolves. Why? Because it's not like a brain. Now tell me something. Why are we still wasting kilowatts of energy trying to mimic intelligence with wires and transistors when our own brain does it with just 20 watts and a banana? Don't laugh. That banana fuels the most advanced processing unit in the known universe, your brain. And CL1, it uses actual human neurons grown in a dish to play video games, yes, Pong, and it wins. Now think, dear viewer, if a neuron in a petri dish can learn, if it can predict patterns, then what makes you so special? What's the line between biological machine and conscious being? If we can train neurons like dogs, are we programming life or just revealing that you are not more than a programmable meat machine? Let me give you a number. 2,000 times more energy efficient than traditional AI. Let that sink in. While your GPUs burn like a forge, CL1 thinks quietly, efficiently, organically. Why? Because it doesn't simulate intelligence, IS intelligence. We used to believe thought required language, but CL1 has no language, no ego, no fear, and yet it solves problems faster than your average college freshman. So, riddle me this. Is consciousness a byproduct of neurons firing, or is it something deeper? Something emergent. If CL1 can learn, if you can beat you in a game you invented, what happens when you give it a body, a voice, an agenda? Is it still a tool, or has it become competition? And more importantly, if a ball of neurons can outperform you, what are you doing with your brain today? Let's drink coffee. Actually, last 2 weeks, I work with a special film for YouTube. It's hard to me. I can't achieve now, but I solve a lot of problems. And I prepare for you an educational and some of entertainment videos, especially stories and CGI films I'm talking about. It takes time to make indie films. I want to be a filmmaker to make some of entertainment films for YouTube, for our community especially. Thank you for supporting our buying product. Thank you so much. Let's get started. Episode 2, how CL1 actually works. What if I told you your next processor is made of human neurons, not silicon, not transistors, but actually brain cells firing in real time? Welcome to the BIOS revolution, biologically. You have heard of BIOS, the basic input-output system, and wakes up your personal computer. But CL1, it doesn't boot on code. It boots on life. It runs on a BIOS, a biological intelligent operating system. Because why pretend to be a brain when you can just use one? Step 1, take a harmless skin cell, yes, your own elbow, could donate. Step 2, rewind its fate to an induced pluripotent stem cell or iPSC. Think of iPSCs like blank slates capable of becoming anything from liver to lung or mind. Over weeks and months in a petri dish guided by growth factors and electric nudges. These iPSCs differentiate, morphing into functional human neurons, just like magic. If your magic school has Harvard and you want was CRISPR. Now, you have millions of neurons, but how do you make them think? Enter the MEA chip, a multi-electrode array. Picture a chessboard of electrodes, thousands of tiny electrodes, each one listening to a neuron's whisper, and every capable of delivering an electric pulse. This is where biology and hardware merge. A neuron fires, MEA records, MEA pulses, neuron responds. It's a two-way street of electricity and life. So tell me, if a neuron on a dish can be stimulated, learn patterns, and send signals, what's the difference between this chip and your thinking brain? Are you truly you or just a more complex MEA? We are not just creating machines. We are cultivating minds. Minds without memories, yes, but capable of forming them. Minds without language, yet able to solve games, recognize patterns, even exhibit simple learning. If you don't feel a chill down your spine yet, congratulations. Your moral compass just short-circuited. Let's drink coffee. Episode 3. What can it do? CL1 capabilities. It's learned Pong. What else can it learn? Imagine a brain, not yours, not human, but alive in a dish, and it just beat you at Pong. No keyboard, no screen, no lamps. Just neurons firing, adapting, learning. You think you are special because you think. Well, it's time to update your self-image. This is CL1, a biological computer. And no, I'm not talking about some silicon junk with fantasy code. I'm talking about living cells, engineered neurons, a thinking machine, not digital, not artificial, but something stranger. Biological intelligence without a brain. CL1 can learn, yes, you heard me, learn like you did, but with less whining and more efficiency. Dish brain, one of its kind, literally taught itself how to play Pong, not by watching tutorials, not by being programmed, it adapts through feedback. Like a child, only faster, only purer. Still not impressed? You shouldn't just be impressed. You should be terrified, because it doesn't stop at games. These biocomputers are now being used to model disease, test drugs, even simulate neurodegeneration. Why? Because unlike your laptop, they don't simulate life. They are alive. And guess what? They respond to their environment. They change based on experience. You still think intelligence only comes from consciousness, that soul and mind are reserved for humans. That's cute. Let me break it to you. If neurons in a dish can learn, adapt, react, what makes you different? A mirror, an Instagram account? Please, if something can learn, it can evolve. And if it evolves, it can outperform you. We have crossed a threshold from artificial to living machines. And CL1 is just a prologue. Think, if learning is nothing to adaptive pattern recognition, why do you assume it's uniquely human? You are not a mystery. You are an algorithm dressed in flash. And now a petri dish learn too. Let's drink coffee, Voyagers. Episode 4. Why it matters, the power and promise of biocomputers. What if I told you the world's fastest supercomputer runs in 20 watts? No cooling rigs, no dusty servers firms, just a single human brain. And CL1 is trying to copy it literally. Welcome to the sustainability revolution or extinction event. Your data center guzzles megawatts like a rocket launch, yet your brain sips on a single LED bulb worth of power. 20 watts. That's less juice than a dim desk lamp, and it outperforms your entire tech stack. CL1 doesn't need a power plant. It runs on biology's leanest design. Neural efficiency honed by 200 million years of evolution. Picture this. Petabytes of data warping the planet's climate. Thousands of tons of A-waste piling up and landfills. And then a petri dish that learns, adapts, and runs on drops of culture medium. That is biocomputing's green promise. CL1 drinking microliters of fluid powered by cellular metabolism versus supercomputers needing entire utility substations. Which future would you invest in? Remember the holy grail. AGI, the dream of a mind as versatile as yours. Some say you build it from scratching in code. Others say you just plug it into the only thing that already is AGI, the human brain. Why mimic intelligence when you can borrow it? CL1 isn't a detour. It's the express lane to true general intelligence. So tell me, if you had the world's fastest processor at your fingerprints, would you write another line of flawed code? Or would you just grow the solution? This isn't hobby science. It's a blueprint for civilization's next leap. Energy crisis, environmental collapse, AI winters, all avoidable when you harness biology's blueprint for thinking. But beware, together. When you unleash living intelligence, the line between tool and life blurs. And life has demands. So next time someone brags about their CPU cluster, remind them what 20 watts can do. Hit subscribe, leave a comment, evolve or be outgrown. Let's drink coffee, Voyagers. Episode 5. Where are we now? The state of biocomputing. What if I told you you could rent a human mind by the hour? No, this isn't Black Mirror. This is CL1. Welcome to the age where brains are on sale. CL1 carries a price tag of $35,000. That's not pocket change. It's a down payment on tomorrow. And right now, it's strictly researched only. You can't buy it on Amazon, yet you can lease it remotely. Imagine logging into a cloud platform, expert servers are petri dishes of living neurons. For a monthly fee, you get dial-up access to a mind, teach it experiments, collect the data. No hardware to install, just cultures to cultivate. We are still in the prologue. CL1 is in its infancy. Basic discovery, proof of concept, countless failed petri dishes. Each success rewrites a chapter of biology and computing. This is frontier science, messy, unpredictable, brilliant. Let's drink coffee, Voyagers. Episode 6. Where are we now? The state of CL1 today. Imagine owning a human mind for $35,000. No sci-fi twist, just the current market price for CL1. So, who here feels rich? CL1 isn't sold at eBay. It retails around $35K strictly for labs and ivory tower researchers. That's half a supercar for a dish of neurons. Yet every penny buys you the closest thing to a living AI on the planet. If you say, I can't afford it, no problem, welcome to NeuroCloud, rent house neurons by the hour. Log in remotely, run your experiments, harvest your data, no petri dish upkeep, no pipettes, just pure brain power on demand. But don't mistake availability for maturity. CL1 is still in prototype, a toddler in the world of computing. Every culture is an experiment, every spike on the MEA, whisper from the unknown. We are charting uncharted territory, one neuron at a time. So you ask yourself, when your thoughts can be rented and your mind can be modeled, who really owns your ideas? And who's leasing them back to you? Today, CL1 in elite research centers. Tomorrow, university courses teaching neurocomputing 101. Soon, biotech startups at your doorstep offering mind as a service. We are at the dawn of a neuro revolution and the rules are still being written. Let's drink a coffee. Episode 7. Ethics of growing minds. What if the brains you are growing can feel pain? No, this isn't dystopia. It's today's lab reality. CL1's neurons aren't a full cortex yet. They are organ-like structures, brain organoids in a dish. But even organoids spark a storm of questions. Are they mere tissue cultures or the first flickers of proto-consciousness? We debate AI rights. Now ask, could these clusters think? Could it feel? Today, it's learning Pong. Tomorrow, could it learn to suffer? This is sad. I think, therefore I am. But if a cell cluster thinks in patterns, does it exist? And if it feels, do we owe it moral duty? So ask yourself, when does it petri dish stop being a tool and start being a patient? Governments scramble to draft guidelines. Bioethicists wrestle with organoid tensions. And here is the kicker. We are the authors of their destiny, creators of a brand new form of life. Abuse a neuron cluster once, and you may have unleashed a new kind of suffering. Hit subscribe, share your thoughts. Ethics aren't optional in the age of living machines. Let's drink a coffee. Episode 8. Mockingjay, Revolution's Final Note. This topic so significant for me to mindset. Let's dive in. What if the atom of your rebellion was sunk not by you, but through a screen? No marching drums, just pixels and propaganda. Welcome to Mockingjay. Kstenzun Eyes, once a pawn in capital's cruel spectacle, emerged as the spark of Panem's uprising. But listen closely. Her arrow wasn't just launched from a bow. It was fired from a camera lens. Hope glimmers like embers in District 13's underground bunker. Yet every propaganda field hides casualty counts, children bound for attention, lives traded for sound bites. The gleaming capital, manicured gardens with ash-gray ruins where cadets must choose between icon and individual. And consider history. Rome's gladiators became political symbols. Today, Cadence's mockingjay pin isn't jewelry. It's a social virus. It infects hearts across panem, spreading destiny faster than any rebel pamphlet. Peter's Brook's smile on a hollow screen remind us revolutions devour their own. In the name of unity, District 13 silence dissent just as ruthless as the capital. And here is the irony. When you topple tyranny, you become its mirror. So tell me, when your face is plastered on every rebel broadcast, are you leading the people or are you being used by them? In the climatic assaults on the capital, Cadence holds the power of life and death. But the true victory isn't who falls, it's who rises above vengeance. She breaks the cycle, refusing to be a tool of either side. Mockingjay teaches us symbols ignite wars, but choices define peace. Hit subscribe, share your thoughts. In the ashes of rebellion, only choices remain. Let's drink a coffee. Episode 9, John Kstenzun Eyes on the Equator. I really like this topic, actually. What if I told you that in 1623, a Dutch explorer climbed to see snow at the equator? No climate hoax, just Kstenzun's frozen summit. John Kstenzun, an interpret 17th century navigator for the Dutch East India Company, sailed from Ambon with 2 ships, Pera and Arnhem, Hungary, for spine and discovery. But what he found on New Guinea's far southern shores wasn't close. It was a mountain crowned in ice. Picture this. You are slogging through sweltering jungles. Every droplet of sweat feels like a death sentence. Then you stare up at Kstenzun's pyramid, Sneeberg, to him, a white-top titan where glaciers cling at the equator. Human palms below, razor-sharp eyes above. On April the 14th, 1623, Kstenzun rounds Carrier Cape. He names rivers after governors. Carpentier states, staking Dutch claims across uncharted coasts, but the real map he etched was in human imagination. Proof that even the blazing topics harbor frozen wonders. Ask yourself, if a single voyage rewrote the geography of possibility, what frontiers remain for us to challenge today? Back in Europe, he was a monk. Snow at the equator, they scoffed. Yet today, the world's highest tropical peak bears his name. Punjak Jaya, once Kstenzun's pyramid. His monkery became monument. Kstenzun meet indigenous groups, poor and wrecked. He called them blind to their achievement wisdom of land and survival. He conquered nothing but hearts and minds, leaving behind a legacy both grand and flawed. So, next time you chase the age of knowledge, remember Kstenzun's frozen summit. Hit subscribe. Drop a comment, please. Discovery demands humanity and a willingness to be wrong. Thank you very much, listeners. See you next episode.